straight away we're through. I don't know if you can hear that on the microphone that's picking it up. But yeah. Sorry for starting so late today, but as you can probably hear, that's the reason why. Not only is this field absolutely frozen solid, literally the ground here is harder than concrete, but because this field was, well, there's no other way to put it, the field was wet, it has frozen into puddles beyond puddles, and some of these puddles are just, they are very, very deadly. I don't know if you can hear the creak of the ice. As I'm trying to, so we're going to be taking a very, very slow and steady walk today, because we are literally, cracking and falling through. There we go, through that. So, as they say, slow and steady wins the race. So, just kind of take it slow and steady on this field today, because there is a probably good chance we're going to encounter a lot of ice. So, good morning to you all. The cows are, I don't know if you can see them in the back there, they're gathering around a water source. There's, of course, ponies for you all as well. So, yes, good morning, one and all, and Happy New Year to you all, and of course, Happy Brexit Day. Just seen someone say good morning to me from the EU. Well, yes, that's probably going to be the case for now on. But yes, we taking it slow and steady today. A bit of a lesser walk today, because the like I say, purely because of the weather, this field is rock solid. It's harder than hard as concrete, shall we say. And like I say, I'll probably get to show you some point stuff where all the ice is all over the place, frozen puddles that are, well, I haven't seen this ice this thick for quite a while. I should have brought my should have attached some blades to my wellies. Like we could have skated along this morning. Yes, but good morning to you all. How are you all? Let's just go through some of the good mornings we've got. English Viking, good morning to you. Happy New Year from Jen. Good morning. Happy New Year to you as well. Kirstoff, Ball Hatman. Do you like the smell of Brexit in the morning? Smells like sovereignty. Oh, we're going to go through some of that today, definitely. Happy New Year from Henk. Morning to you, Flash Mud. Nicola Smith, Happy New Year to you. Yeah, hang on, I'm having to slow down. Like I said, I don't know if you can hear the crunching that's on here. We're literally walking across a frozen puddle, and it feels really precarious. Yeah, that's really strange to stand on that. Retrofly, good morning from Austria again. Kroban from Thailand, good morning to you. Yeah, yeah. Unless you're in Northern Ireland or Gibraltar, you're still technically in the EU. So good morning to you. Good morning from Dublin, from Joe there. Oh, on. There we go. So that Ian Ford, good morning. Yes, it is quite the the Orwellian disaster that's going to essentially unfold. Best wishes there from someone. I can't see your name there. Crowan, I think that was. Sorry, I can't see your name. So I'm trying to concentrate and keep my footing and read the text at the same time. Oh, what's this? Harry Sent me a message here. Said half great travel travel channel. Love your videos, but have to disagree with your no deal stance. That's how to really expose the Tories. Two whole nations, even their huge compliant press wouldn't have saved them. It's not even that. This deal itself is just incredibly bad. And trust me, no deal hasn't gone away. Like I say, we're going to get into talking to that in one of... Just like I say, I haven't fully examined the deal yet. But there is one thing that I think we really need to concentrate on. And that is the joint... the joint partnership committee, I think it's called, or something like that. But we'll get into what they do and essentially their role in post-Brexit Britain. Are you walking over Brexit? Most probably. Oh. Anyway. Oh. Yeah, of course, if you've woken up in the new year with an Irish passport, of course, your dual citizenship now essentially has you more rights on this continent than I do, essentially. So, congratulations on your dual citizenship status. You're walking out like a bandit, especially these past 2 mornings. Oh, good morning from Belgium, someone there. Good morning to you. And before we start off with the Brexit nonsense, I want to start off with America again. I'd have thought this craziness would have stopped by now, but apparently not. What's essentially going to happen on the 6th of January is essentially that all the electors are going to meet in Congress and they're going to vote, which is essentially a formality to essentially confirm that Joe Biden won the election and that he is now president. What we are hearing, interestingly, and this is where it gets interesting, kids, or shall I say readers. So this is where it gets good, readers. The Republican Party, or some members of the Republican Party, are now very seriously considering contesting that vote. And I'm like, what? This is going to be absolutely disastrous, because some of them are betting, some of these Republican senators are heavily betting that Trump is going to be somewhat of a serious force in the Republican Party for at least some time to come. But you've got other people like Mitt Romney and I can't remember the other guy's name, who basically said, yeah, it's over, we lost, let's, come on guys, let's carry on, let's get some more sensible talk around here. But apparently others are seriously considering voting against it, which, if that does happen, you could potentially see the Republican Party essentially descend into civil war with itself. It will start eating itself on a monumental scale. And just as a couple of weeks ago, I already said that you've got Trump supporters down in Georgia who are already saying that, that the election was, fixed, and promoting the ridiculous conspiracy theories of it all. They're already saying they're not going to vote Republican. And that's like, oh, okay. So the Georgia Senate races down there have all of a sudden become very, very interesting. So, good morning from the Czech Republic, someone down there. Good morning to you. So, yeah, that's America. And to be honest, I thought this crazy nonsense would have been over by now. But apparently not. Apparently not. And yet it continues with this absolutely ridiculous stance on it all. But there you go. Someone there, good morning from Poland. Good morning to you. So, let's talk about Brexit, because we are officially now in Brexit Britain. We have left officially. We left politically, obviously, this time last year, and now we have left as of the 1st of January, we left the single market and customs union, meaning that we are now, for all intents and purposes, a third country. And this is going to have a huge significant impact on us going forward. And I don't know if you saw the parliamentary debate that happened. I watched some of it live. I watched Boris be all patriotic and fervent and talking about probably more about fish than he has ever talked about in his entire life, and how it's going to be all fantastic for the fishermen. But I have yet to see a single fisherman association in the UK that is happy with this deal. It has put tariffs on there. There are now barriers. There's now a huge amount of bureaucracy and red tape on there. You know, it's not good for the British fishing industry. And what made it even more funnier was Boris made a pledge there to level up the fishing fleet. And they're like, whoa, hold on there, Boris. Britain doesn't have a fishing fleet. It's all privately owned. So not only there has Boris made a promise that he is not in his right mind going to be able to keep, because as we've said before, a lot of the problems that are essentially befalling fishermen are the fact that it's industrialization. It's like a farmer who uses a horse and plough complaining that a farmer who uses modern tractor equipment, you know, produces more food than he does. You know, it's just going to be absolutely insane. It's going to be crazy that, you know, he thinks he can just say that and get away with it. But of course he can. And of course, oh, hang on. Oh, there we go. So every time I step on a puddle, I'm just really nervous because I can hear it cracking underneath me. So it's an absolutely wonderful morning today. Just gonna show you the good. Well, hang on. I don't know if that helps. No, it doesn't. It is an absolutely good morning, and a very good frosty yet cold, icy morning here in Barnsley. Of course, we are now separated. Boris is making crazy, pronouncements about once again levelling up the British fishing industry, which again isn't going to happen. And I feel like we should talk more about fishing before we get into more of the deal. Because one of the funny things was about how we can catch all these extra fish now. And you're like, well, hold on a minute, Boris. You do realise that 80% of all the catch that our fishermen catch go to the EU. The fact of the matter is, people in the UK just don't eat that much fish. And there are probably numerous reasons to that, but it's most probably because the price of meat is so low compared to fish. I mean, I've often been tempted to go to the local Morrisons and just try and count the number of people who buy, a piece of fish from the fishmonger versus people who buy from the butcher. And I guarantee you, you're not going to get into like triple digits with the fishmonger. You're probably going to get into triple digits, probably even more than that, from the butcher, but not the fishmonger. But people just don't buy fish. And we've talked about this before. That's not going to change. You know, we just don't eat that much fish. So that's one of the problems plaguing, you know, the British fishing industry. The other thing, of course, is that the fact of, you know, there are less fishermen. And it's not just this country that's been affected. We'll go to Denmark because I know the figures on this one. So Denmark used to have, again, a significant large fishing fleet. Their fishing fleet, just as ours has decreased over the years as well. That is because of industrialization, people just not wanting to be a fisherman, pure and simple. You know, changing tastes as well, obviously in Denmark, even though Denmark, they do eat a lot of fish over there compared to us. And, you know, their fishing fleet numbers have decreased as well. But they're not too worried about it because, as we've said before, most of their port towns, their governments have actually heavily invested in those port towns so that other industries can actually thrive. The romantic notion that Boris Johnson postulated on Wednesday, that somehow the British fishing industry is going to come back in this, like, you know, a romantical fantasy that he pictured out, isn't going to happen. Because yes, Britain now has an extra 25% added to its quota. But what's going to happen to those quotas? Well, they're not going to go to most probably British fishermen. They are probably going to go to EU boats that are registered out of the UK. And probably, ultimately, because there has been a lot of you will probably see a lot of these, you know, these extra fishing quotas sold off to other, shall we say, influential people in the fishing business. There is a reason why a couple of millionaires who do have some of their fortunes in fish to back Brexit, because it's one of the things we've said constantly about Brexit. It's about the pie. Yes, now that we've left the EU, the pie gets smaller, but if you just so happen to be rich, well, that means now your slice of the pie gets even bigger. So even when the pie shrinks, it just means you get more of it. And that's essentially what's going to happen. And don't worry, we will be keeping tabs on the British fishing industry. We've got some stories about, shall we say, the reaction of fishermen to the deal coming up. And let's just say this, none of them like it. And yet, it was so funny on Twitter on Christmas Eve, where all these Brexit supporters were tweeting, you know, crowing about fish. And you're just like, well, congratulations, guys. That's not the point. Because if you are in the UK today, I want to spread some happy news to you, because I think this is the important thing. You see, in Boris's deal that he has given to us, we have essentially, Boris has sown the seed for Brexit's eventual defeat and us returning to the EU. Like I say, it's only going to be a matter of time, and ultimately the way I picture it happening is that, as not this government, but shall we say successive governments, probably even very future pro-business Tory governments, who maybe have managed to, shall we say, get more
moderate, sensible Tories in and rid the party of the free market fundamentalists that have flooded into the party of should we say, the past couple of years, they will have to go back to the EU and push for closer integration back into the EU, because this is an observable fact. Brexit has done many things, many shocking things to this country, but you cannot get rid of the observable reality facts that geography and flow of trade cannot be denied. First of all, the EU are our closest trading partners. That ain't the change. And not only that, trade flows. People do not want barriers to trade. Full stop. We have instituted we've instituted a trade deal, probably the first in history that actually puts barriers to trade in place rather than takes them away. And this should be absolutely shocking to people. It really should. And to a point, Theresa May was sort of right when her deal was, quote, better. But I'm sure, as we all remember saying back then, it's not good either. So the fact that Boris now has this thin deal, this wafer-thin deal, is all but hilarious. But the tariffs are there, and as I said, the seeds for essentially us rejoining the European Union are in Boris's deal, because successive governments will have to go back to the EU to get closer integration and closer partnerships than they actually want. And that is the general truth of the fact. You can't escape that reality. You can't escape from that. And that's just the observable facts. And here's the thing: businesses are going to lobby MPs, and the Conservative Party, the quote party of business, are going to bow down before that. If I think we've got a Brexiteer in chat. I'm sorry, my friend, but that's the unfortunate observable fact. Britain will be back in the European Union purely because geography and trade flows. Sorry, my friend, that's how it's going to happen. And it'll probably happen sooner rather than later. I'm saying probably about 10 years or so now, we will be looking at rejoining the European Union. I am fully confident that will be what happens, because Boris's deal is just absolutely terrible. And the main point, the seeds of Boris's destruction, are placed in what is called the joint. It's the joint. I can't remember what it's called now. It's something joint partnership federation or something like that. But essentially, what this is Brexit isn't over, because essentially every 5 years, we are going to have the exact same Brexit conversation. Not only that, but because the EU is the larger partner in, and I'm sorry, but they are the larger partner in this trade deal, that means we are going to get the shaft, because that's how trade negotiations go. The larger partner generally gets what they want. And you can try and believe the spin all you want, but the EU got everything it wanted, and we got absolutely nothing in terms of anything that was good. But because this partnership committee is there, that will be formed by huge numbers of subcommittees of looking at all different parts of this trade deal. And if at any moment, the Tories decide we're going to exercise our sovereignty and diverge from the EU, all that's going to happen is tariffs are going to go up. That's going to put barriers to trade in, and businesses are going to absolutely cry foul. This, businesses do not want more barriers to trade. They want free and frictionless trade. That's what they want. And it will just mean that we will just edge back and closer back to being in the European Union. And that's just what's going to happen. It's just going to be an observable fact. Even the Tories are going to have to essentially submit to the fact that, yeah, we actually need to be closer than we want. And the free market fundamentalists are going to be proved wrong. Because, it's an observable fact of just how trade flows. It doesn't matter that we go and do deals with other countries halfway around the world. It doesn't matter, because Europe's always going to be our biggest market that we sell to. Here's the thing. If we put tariffs on the EU is just going to go, meh. Tariffs hurt us far more than they actually hurt the EU. Sorry, my friends. Not only that, but the threat of a no deal hasn't gone away. It hasn't gone away whatsoever. Because at any point during this deal, if we decide to diverge, which ultimately the Tories are going to try, which is going to be the coming, shall we say, Brexit fights to come, then essentially the EU can just say, well, you've diverged so far, we're just going to go snap. No, we're going to remove that deal entirely, meaning no deal. We are the lesser partner, and it's ironic, so ironic now, that we are in a situation of what the Brexiteers claimed that we were for so long. We are now the little pet chihuahua of the EU. We're all bark and no bite. And unfortunately, that's the reality of a UK. Well, I say how long that indeed lasts, because not only will probably Scotland push for another independence vote, but also Northern Ireland will, and probably so will Wales, and England will be left by itself as all those other component parts rejoin the European Union, and two things are going to happen. Either, there we go. Either A, we have to relent to the fact and just push for essentially really closer integration, or we just become the sick man of Europe and essentially left to, to become a new oligarchical country ruled by incredibly rich financial interests, all of which, by the way, who voted and put their money behind leaving the European Union. We'll see about that. We will definitely see. But I'll tell you what, economics here and the numbers will not be denied. You can say that you disagree all you want, but I've put forward my case as to why that is. You can disagree with all you want, but then you have to somehow prove to me that A, the flow of trade and that businesses want more red tape. Nearly. Good luck in that. Good luck. So essentially all that's happened now is, because of that committee, businesses in this country are going to scream blue murder at any point of where the Tories try and essentially assert their sovereignty, because they will try and do that, trust me. In fact, one of the things that I am bizarrely looking forward to, even though it's going to be incredibly boring, I'm looking forward to the first, regulation bill that's brought through into Parliament. Going to be fun. What's this? You've said, we trade all over the world. It's not something we don't know how to do. It doesn't matter that we trade all over the world. What matters is that our closest trading partners in our top 10 are essentially the EU. The only two non-European countries that are not in the top 10 are the USA and China. Doesn't matter. We do far more business. Okay, do you want to talk about this Canada free trade agreement that we are now negotiating? Because, by the way, what we currently have with Canada is what we call a rollover agreement. At any point, Canada can just go, click, we're now trading on World Trade Organization rules. We do more business, more trade just with Ireland than we do with Canada. The idea that trade was the reason to leave the European Union is not going to bear out. I'm placing all my hopes on the UK failing. Unfortunately, it's an observable fact. You have to essentially disagree with economic facts and reality. And unless you can actually say something that somehow the flow of trade that we do currently is going to somehow be magically reversed, yeah, you know what it's going to be at the end of this year? Do you think Canada will do that? Yes, because now Canada has an immense power in the trade deals that we do with them. Again, lots of Brexiteers were crowing about how good the Japan deal was. The Japan deal wasn't any way good whatsoever. I've done multiple videos on just how bad the Japan deal is. For the fact that here's one simple reason why it's so bad, out of many reasons why it's so bad. The Japan deal does not cover investing. Japan is our second largest foreign investor, and yet we have put nothing in that deal to help either incentivize, protect, or help with Japan investing. That's how, quote, good that trade deal was. It's not going to turn out, any other of the trade deals are going to turn out to be anywhere near as good. The Brexiteers this year are going to be so desperate to prove in any way, shape or form that Brexit is a success. It's not going to work because they're going to be lies at best or outright delusions at truth. But you don't have to put these deals down because they're motivated to you by your narrative. I'm sorry, but if we get a worse deal than the deal we had under our EU agreement with Canada, is that a bad deal? Yes, objectively it is. But yeah, just economic wise, it's not going to work out for the UK for reasons I've just laid out. The Brexit supporter in chat, as you'll see, has just said and so what. That's hundreds of thousands of people losing their jobs because of your and so what? You know, you already had the if you saw on Sky, and the guy who was the guy of the selling the baby eels, who voted for Brexit, and he laid it out very simply. He now has his customers now have more red tape and bureaucracy to deal with. His customers don't want that. So, so, you know, his customers don't want that. No other British business wants that either. There's a company, again, not too far from where I live, one of their main headquarters, called BAP. And BAP is a massive company that sell bolts. That's all they do. Do you think the British market alone is going to be enough to try and, you know, sate their sales? No. Now that they've been essentially locked out of the EU market, which is going to make it harder for them to sell, meaning now that they are less competitive in our closest, you know, most largest trading partners, you know, businesses will not be denied, and sooner or later, even the Tories are going to find themselves in a position where they themselves will be calling for closer integration with Europe. And one of the things I've said is our route back to being in the EU will just slide slowly and steadily just back into it. That's essentially what's going to happen. And essentially, because of the deal that Boris has signed, has essentially planted the seeds for us to do that. Not only that, but mostly because of Brexit, the UK now has a massive pro-European movement. You know, it's even bigger than UKIP, which were always a fringe minority of a party. You know? And it won't take long for them to, you know, it will not take long for the British public to realise what they've lost. It will not take long for the British public to realise what they lost. And that'll be it, essentially. We will rejoin the EU. We will probably join it a lot lesser than we are now. But at least we'll be a lot more humble about it. Let's say that way. And at least I think we can agree on that. That will be much, much better. So, like I say, I did say it would be a little bit of a less proactive walk today, a lot less a walk. I know we've only been going 30 minutes, but I was trying to walk slower, but now I've motored my way around the field. So here's what I'll tell you what. Here's the thing, guys. People like Trippica. They're wrong. They can't understand why they're wrong because they don't understand the facts. I've laid out the facts very clearly. You've not only it's just gone to it's just going to go back to we will just rejoin the EU. Those are just the facts. You know, simple geography and trade and businesses are going to want to be part more and essentially reduce the barriers that are there. And we are going to have to convince people like Trippica that, yes, leaving the EU was a bad idea. You know, he accused me of wanting the UK to fail. I do not want the UK to fail. I want the UK to succeed. I want the UK to be better than it is. I want the UK to be, an open, positive, and, successful place for everyone, regardless of who they are. And us leaving the European Union does not help that in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. This is why, again, to any Remainers, or should we say rejoiners out there, take heart. Take heart indeed, because that deal that Boris has signed has, sown the seeds for us rejoining. Businesses are not going to want to deal with the amount of red tape that they have to deal. Here's the thing, though, that's the problem, Patrick. We are going to have to find a way to do that. And unfortunately, best way to do that is to be a bit belligerent, to continuously cite facts at them, and eventually you will wear them down. That's essentially what it's going to have to be. And that fight, as Michael Heseltine said, the fight to rejoin the EU starts on the 1st of January. And there are going to be a lot of people, if you saw the video that I did on the former miners that were talking about Brexit, what was the common theme that they were saying? They were all saying that they wanted to leave the EU because they wanted their lives to be better. They wanted their lives to improve. Well, leaving the EU is only going to make that worse for them and their towns. Especially my town. But they will realise very quickly what they've lost and just the amount of investment. And remember, the Brexiteers will deny vehemently that they promised people's lives would be better. But why, when you talk to Brexit supporters, did they admit that they wanted to vote for their communities to be better? And here's the thing. The EU was the only organisation that was actually supporting many of these communities that voted to leave. And, that was just one of the bizarre facts about the 2016 referendum. But there you go. We're going to learn the harsh truth about sovereignty and what that actually means. That in, modern trade deals, countries go to each other and they give up sovereignty for mutual benefits, which is what we had for many years when we were in the EU. And like it or not, that's what we lost. Like I say, the deal is going to guarantee us rejoining the European Union, because businesses are not going to want to deal with all that extra red tape, all that extra bureaucracy, all that extra cost. Large businesses are sort of going to be fine by it, especially if they already do international trade and they're sort of used to dealing with all that paperwork. But now they have to do extra paperwork just to normally export to a very large market. They're not going to like that. You're going to get, in the really short term, it's the small and medium-sized businesses that had essentially an extended massive market because of the EU that are really going to essentially suffer, like that guy on Sky News. And I will say to this anyone, do not belittle that man in any way, shape or form, because he's going to lose his business. And his employees are probably going to lose their jobs. And yes, he did admit that he did vote for Brexit, but like so many Brexit supporters, and this is where I always stress where we must separate Brexiteers from Brexit supporters. Brexit supporters were conned. It was the biggest con job we've ever seen going on in this country. And because of that, lies can only take them so far. To quote Terry Pratchett, a lie can get halfway around the world before the truth can get its boots on. But once the truth has got its boots on, it's got a lot of kicking to do. So, It's only a matter of time. And, you know, the lies that they're going to tell this year are going to be some absolute whoppers. Don't worry about that. We're going to cover it all. So, you know, it's going to be an interesting year, a very interesting year, because fingers crossed, hopefully, we can deal with this coronavirus. Although, if you saw Piers Corbyn, sorry, Jeremy Corbyn's brother, you know, organise a massive, you know, party and then announce that he's running for mayor of London because he will be able to, quote, free the city of London from its chains. This is a guy who who believes that the coronavirus is not real. He's an absolute lunatic. And just as one of Jeremy Corbyn's sons has said, every family has one of their every family has a Piers Corbyn. Piers Corbyn only speaks for Piers Corbyn. So here we are again. You know, hopefully we do deal with it. And then what's going to happen? Well, as I keep on saying, we are in a recession. The only European country that's in a recession, by the way, at least I think it is. At least I think that's still the case. Because of the coronavirus. Remember, we lost 20% of our GDP because of the coronavirus. All the other countries, the next lowest was about 13%. And I think that was from Spain. And yes, that was a lot. But 20%? That essentially, as a lot of economists said, wipes out the past 2 decades of progress that we made. It just doesn't look good for us, to be honest. And that will be the big thing. When the economy starts to stagnate, what is Boris going to do? And how is Boris going to explain it to his MPs? And then that might be the question of, that's when the knives come out. So, like I say, thank you all for watching today. Like I say, this is a little bit of a lesser good morning walk, purely for the fact that the ground is as hard as concrete and there's tons of ice around there. So unfortunately, I can't do the full walk that we normally do with you all. But wow, 212 people. Wow, thanks so much for joining us all today. That's absolutely fantastic. Like I say, if you are new, please do hit that subscribe button. We will be talking a lot about Brexit because, you know, Brexit is not going to go away. It will be casting a very, very long shadow over this, not only over this, should we say, current parliament, but future parliaments to come. It will be a defining issue pretty much going forward. And that ain't going to change it. So if you were expecting Brexit to have ended, think again. Just as many MPs are certainly going to be very upset when that happens. So, like I say, thank you all for joining me today. Please do hit that like and share button on your way out. And, you know, thanks for joining me, as always. There is a donation... not a donation, my Patreon page down below if you'd like to become a patron. And there is also a one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, well, buy me a coffee. And I can warm my cockles on one. But yes, thank you so much as always. Like I say, please do hit that subscribe button if you are new to see more videos when we will be talking about, probably at least for this month, talking about the just how bad this deal actually is. Like I say, we are waiting on the Economist to weigh in on what they think this deal is going to be. No option to buy tea. Well, I will buy tea with it. Let's face it. I am a Yorkshireman, so I will have to buy some Yorkshire tea. So yeah, thank you to everyone who joins us as always. Like I say, I hope you had a very wonderful Christmas. I hope you had a fantastic New Year. I hope you do go out and enjoy your first. Train goes past. I do hope you all enjoy your first weekend of the year. Go out and enjoy yourselves. If you can't be safe, be at least sensible. And yes, we will see you all next Saturday, hopefully at 8 o'clock this time, for another good morning walk. And thank you for joining us. So we'll see you all next time.